Hello, welcome. Welcome. This is the global community for adults who are healing CPTSD. My name is Athena, and it's an honor to be here with you. We've all been showing up here together weekly for about 10 years now, and if this is your first time here, I want to warmly welcome you. On this channel, you'll find a safe enough place. Safe enough, I say safe enough place because we are on social media. We are on the internet together, out in the wild. Here, we're not on a private platform. So here you will find a safe enough place to come and check in with others who are on a similar healing path and who many have been they've been showing up here for themselves and with others to check in with one another for several years, some of us 10 years. So we're grateful you're here. If you're new, we warmly welcome you. And if you're returning, welcome back. We're so glad that you've chosen to be here today. So what we've been doing lately, over the past couple years, we've been sharing some weekly. We will share meditation written by Morgan Harper Nichols. Her artwork is what you see on the screen. And we also have a compassionate healing strategy written by Dr. Ariel Schwartz. And then we wrap up our time together with a Loving the Self affirmation written by Lisa A. Romano. And what we've been doing most recently is we've been doing some guided breath work together, which we will do today as well. And our most recent addition is I've been bringing with me every week a quote and a theme. And the quote is from Young Pueblo, the author. And the theme is usually when I'm sitting with all of the materials that I've just mentioned and I'm preparing for our time together here on Monday evenings, I'll notice a common theme, a common thread in all of the pieces. And this week's theme was courage, welcoming courage. So, my journal prompt to you, my question for you, the theme this week: what does welcoming courage look like for you? What does welcoming courage look like for you? I would love to know. And I'll share mine as well throughout our time together in the next 45, 50 minutes or so. If you're new here, I warmly welcome you. This channel is sponsored by the Foundation for Post-Traumatic Healing and Complex Trauma Research, also known as CPTSDfoundation.org. I'll put a comment in the chat box now. There's also a pinned comment up at the top of the chat box. We have a group that's sort of like a chat group that is away from social media. And I also help lead and facilitate support groups for adults who are healing CPTSD. And I do that away from social media. So there's a link in the description section of the video. There's a link in the chat box. And thank you. Thank you for being here. So grateful to be here with you. I'm going to say hello to everyone who is here for our time together tonight. And then we will get started. What does welcoming courage look like for you? Hello. A warm welcome back to you, Jeffrey Sherman. I'm waving back to you and smiling back at you. Hello, John Harvey and Midnight Blue. Hello, Natalia and Craig. I'm sending you hugs back. Thank you. Hello, Emily and Dolly. Aw, Dolly says it's my favorite day of the week because of these sessions. Yay! It's my favorite day of the week as well, Dolly. I love being here with everyone. So glad to be here with you. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Leah. Hello, Betsy. Hello to anyone else I didn't get a chance to greet by name. Your presence is warmly welcomed here with us. Yeah, thank you. So I'm gonna get a sip of water, and I want to invite you to get very, very comfortable. What does welcoming courage look like for you? Let me know how the volume is with the music. Thank you all for your feedback regarding the music as well. So if you've had a chance to get very, very comfortable, let's do some breath work together. Let's do some box breathing. We will breathe in together for 4 counts. We will pause for 4 counts. We'll breathe out for 4 counts. Pause for 4 counts. And we will do that 4 times. I will count us in on our first breath together and our 4th breath together. And then on our 2nd and 3rd breath together, we'll be on our own. Let us begin. In 3, 2, 1, breathe in. 3, 2, 1, pause. 3, 2, 1, breathe out. 3, 2, 1, pause. 3, 2, 1. On your own now. Again. Last time together now. Breathe in. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 3, 2, 1. Pause. 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Well done. Great breath work. I was able to get a nice big yawn on our second breath together, and then after our last, our fourth breath together. So I'll start with our quote and then we'll do our meditation. I want to pause and I want to check in and ask John Harvey, Jeffrey Sherman, Midnight Blue. Hello, is it Zila? Zela Hooper? It's nice to meet you. We warmly welcome you, Zela. And if I'm mispronouncing your name, please type it out phonetically in the chat box. Pronouncing your name is important to me. Zela. Zila. Yes. Wonderful. We warmly welcome you. So for you, Zila, what does welcoming courage look like? And what about for you, Midnight Blue and John Harvey and Lisa and Craig, Betsy and Leah? What about you, Emily and Natalia and Jeffrey Sherman? What does welcoming courage look like to you? Jeffrey Sherman says the water can be calming to look at. I'd like to see some sometime. I think I'm in the middle of a different conversation. Thank you so much, Leah. Leah says, welcoming courage is like walking into a freezing cold water, knowing that it will be good for the immune system later on. Ooh, I like that. Yes. Is that like those, the cold plunges that people are doing these days? Thank you so much for sharing. Midnight Blue says, courage. Setting boundaries can be. Yes. I love that. Thank you for sharing. John Harvey says, standing up for yourself. Yes. That does sound like welcoming courage. Same with setting boundaries and same with going into the freezing cold water. These are great examples of courage. Welcoming courage. What does welcoming courage look like for you? Emily says, courage is definitely setting and maintaining boundaries. Yes. Lisa says, welcoming courage is facing the unknown, no matter how hard it is. I'm facing a medical procedure in a few weeks, and also setting boundaries. I'm getting a theme here with the boundaries, and oh, Lisa, my hand is on my heart. I'm offering you so much compassion and courage and strength as you go into a medical procedure. I have a deep felt sense of empathy. I too have had medical procedures, and they are no joke. Whatever feelings you're having surrounding this medical procedure, please know that they're valid. We see you. We acknowledge you. We honor your healing journey. We honor your process. And thank you for sharing. Emily says, right now I feel like I've set enough set enough boundaries. I don't want to be courageous. I just want to cuddle with my cat and tea and dream of pup joining. That sounds excellent to me, Emily. Sounds lovely. Yeah. Leah says, Emily and John, so on point. Boundaries and standing up. Absolutely, yes. Zila says, for me, welcoming courage would be finding the ability to go out in the world like I used to be able to do. Yes, absolutely. I want to encourage anyone that is struggling with feelings of fear, feelings of anxiety surrounding any type of CPTSD symptoms. Please know that the anxiety and the fears we have and the hypervigilance and the inability to do the things we used to do, please know that those things are temporary. The more and more and more we show up for ourselves and advocate for ourselves, the less often we find ourselves in an emotional flashback, and the more we are able to get out in the world like we used to be able to do before we even started having memories about any type of repeated relational trauma. Thank you so much for sharing, Zila. Betsy says, I've been starting to process a big T trauma with EMDR, and I have to keep reminding my adult self that this will help in the long run, even if it is scary right now. Absolutely yes. Absolutely yes. What we're going through right now is temporary. And I'm so grateful that you have a trusted trauma-informed practitioner that understands EMDR. EMDR is quite powerful. It really helped me a few times in my healing journey, and I'm so grateful you get to participate. John Harvey says, welcoming courage is seeing what scares you and doing it anyway. Yes. Yes, absolutely. I agree, John Harvey. I agree. Jeffrey Sherman says, Natalia, yes, attempting to trust again. Also, having an expectation of a better and safer relationship after setting a boundary instead of getting pushback and manipulation. Ooh, absolutely, Jeffrey Sherman. I see you. Absolutely. Please know, anyone here who's struggling with situations where people are being manipulative, please know that it's not you. It's way more of an indicator of who that person is as a person, and has very little to nothing to do with you. You deserve connections where you feel compassionately witnessed and seen and heard and safe and valued and acknowledged and validated, all from people who have a felt sense of empathy. And if that is not what we're experiencing, it's okay to move on. It's okay to continue and be in search of those safe enough relationships. You are worth it. You are worth it, Jeffrey Sherman. You are worth it, each and every one of you. Thank you so much for sharing, Jeffrey Sherman. And each of you who are sharing, Craig says, welcoming courage is when there is a storm and somehow you feel the calm in the storm. The courage really is when it comes and you're not scared anymore. Wow. Yes. I love that. every single one of you who are sharing. I'm so grateful that I'm getting to witness you in your brave, courageous shares. I would say welcoming courage looks like showing up for ourselves on a Monday night and typing words out in a chat box for the whole wide world to read, and being together side by side, healing. That is courage. Hello, warrior. So good to see you. Oh, thank you so much. I'm never giving up. No. Tonight's theme is welcoming courage. What does welcoming courage look like for you, warrior for him? You're so welcome, Emily. You're so welcome. I have our quote here with us. It's a long quote. It's from Young Pueblo in his most recent book titled The Way Forward. And this long quote is on page 'That's a different quote. That's next week, I think. Let me go back. Here it is. This is the one that's in this week's theme. Our quote this week on the theme of welcoming courage from Young Pueblo in his most recent book, The Way Forward, on page 80. And it reads, "They asked her, 'How do you get through the tough moments?' And she answered, 'Do not trust the way you see yourself when your mind is turbulent. And remember that even pain is temporary. Honor your boundaries, treat yourself gently, let go of perfection, and feel your emotions without letting them control you. You have enough experience to face the storm and evolve from it." End quote. And that is called resilience. I find it so interesting that so many of you shared when I asked you, what does welcoming courage look like for you? So many of you shared about the storms and about boundaries. And I love that Young Pueblo is reminding us, in alignment with other shares here tonight, that even pain is temporary. And he also reminds us to honor our boundaries and treat ourselves gently, and to feel our emotions without letting them control us. I'm grateful for the reminder that he's giving us that we have enough experience to face the storm and evolve from it. Really, really great. I'm so grateful for that. So now we have our meditation written by Morgan Harper Nichols within our theme of welcoming courage. Morgan says, "May this season of your life where you allow yourself to step out of your comfort zone in pursuit of courage. May this be the season of your life where you allow yourself to step out of your comfort zone in pursuit of courage, even in the smallest ways. Let the process of leaving your comfort zone remind you of all the ways you've been learning to come alive with a courageous heart. Consider all the time you spent thinking about the mountains that lie ahead and the courage it will require to reach the other side. But may this be a moment in your life where you begin to recognize that there are small things you can do today to help you grow in courage too. Here are a few examples of small things we can do to help us grow in courage. Do you see yourself in any of these moments? How about that moment you chose to tell someone how you actually felt when you could have just said you were fine? Or how about the time that you took some time to do something for yourself when in the past you would have told yourself you didn't deserve it yet? Or how about the moment you initiated a conversation or a plan, even though you were nervous about the outcome? What about the time you asked for what you needed, even though in the past you may have backed down? Or the moment you chose to prioritize your mental health, opting to slow down and rest, even though a few years ago you would have pushed relentlessly forward? Or what about the moment you let yourself feel deeply, experiencing the full spectrum of emotions? Or the time you chose to continue the journey, even as you're still learning to pace yourself as you move through mountains and valleys. These are just a few of many examples of ways that you may have been practicing courage and welcoming courage. You might think that all you're doing is going through the motions, but in reality, the moments you're moving through where you're practicing courage are not isolated events. They are part of the larger journey you are on, and you are free. You are free to keep moving through this space, reflecting on these moments and paying attention to the way you're growing through it all. You don't have to remember every single moment that you've been learning to be courageous. No. Instead, perhaps just focus on one area at a time, one medical procedure at a time, one storm at a time, one boundary at a time, one event at a time. And even if you're being courageous in the smallest things, like allowing yourself time to read fiction just for fun, or carving out time to water plants because it's something you like to do, these things are worth acknowledging. These small moments of paying attention to courageous acts, even the courageous act of being kind to yourself, these small moments are worth acknowledging on a daily basis. So keep acknowledging your courage as it flourishes, and notice its continued growth. So beautiful. Thank you to Morgan. I know I say this every week, but I really love Morgan Harper Nichols. I feel like she gets me. Like she really gets me. So now we're going to turn our attention to our compassionate healing strategy, written by Dr. Ariel Schwartz, taken from page 50 of her book titled A Practical Guide to Complex PTSD. Compassionate strategies to begin healing from childhood trauma. So Dr. Ariel's invitation to us this week is for us to practice self-awareness in ways that will help us experience courage as we move through our daily lives. So some of the ways we can do this is what Dr. Ariel is calling the weather report and the forecast. So this is what she says. Dr. Ariel says, oops, sorry, I bumped my glass on my desk. Sorry for the loud noise. Dr. Ariel says, emotions are like the weather. This practice invites us to take a mindful look at our current weather report. For example, we might notice that we feel calm and relaxed like a sunny day, or we may feel stirred up like a tornado because someone ignored our boundaries. You see, we can create a weather forecast as we prepare for upcoming events. Just as a prediction of rain helps us to remember to bring our umbrella, we are better able to prepare ourselves when we take an honest look at challenging events. For example, if we know we will be visiting with a critical family member, we might plan for stormy emotions like sadness, hurt, and anger. This awareness can remind us to make changes so we can feel more protected, grounded, and connected to our center, such as staying at a hotel instead of in our childhood home, or we might choose not to visit at all. So, let us take a few slow breaths together. They don't have to be deep breaths. The invitation here, I'm placing one hand on my heart and one hand on my belly. The invitation is to simply be with your breath. Okay, so now that we've taken a few slow breaths together, let us consider creating a weather report for our current emotional landscape. Let's check in with ourselves. Let us reflect upon any events that may have shaped our current weather pattern. Now that we have gained awareness of our emotions, let us see if we can offer ourselves the gift of self-acceptance. For example, we might say to ourselves, I am okay just as I am. Or, my emotions are welcome here. How does that feel for you? How does that land? Just want to check in with you. And since Dr. Ariel is calling this the weather report and the weather forecast, guess what? Her invitation here is to think about an upcoming event. Perhaps our medical procedure, or our boundary, or advocating for ourselves. Let's think about any event coming up. We can create a weather forecast that predicts how we may be feeling. So, for instance, we can prepare for the muddy, messy moments of life by paying attention to the signs of a storm ahead. Remember though, we cannot always predict the weather accurately. Sometimes how we actually feel in the moment, it may be different from what we expected. So as we practice our weather forecasts, let us notice if our accuracy increases over time. How was that for you guys? I just want to check in with you. A warm welcome to anyone I haven't greeted by name. Wow. Thank you for all the likes. My goodness. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Thank you for all the likes, everybody. Every single time you hit the thumbs up button and the like button, it helps to bring our recordings into other people's feed. And we're able to reach other adult survivors who are living with the effects of repeated relational trauma who may be healing CPTSD. It helps them to know that they can join us every Monday at 7 p.m. And that way, if they don't have any type of trauma-informed peer support in their support system, then at least they have us, right? So, I'm really grateful. Oh, you're so welcome, Zila. We're so glad you're here. Oh, thanks, Jeffrey Sherman. Thank you. A warm welcome to you, Tim. Oh, we're so glad you've joined us. We warmly welcome you to our community. Tim says, Happy Earth Day, my loves. May God bless. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh. You all are my friendly family of choice. You're my family. I'm sending everyone emojis and hearts and hugs back. Let me see if I can get my emojis working here. Here are hearts and hugs for each of you. I appreciate you all so much. Lots of hearts and hugs. Yes, Lisa says practicing self-compassion has been helpful to get through each moment. Yeah. Same here. Absolutely. So we will end our time together this week with our Loving the Self affirmation written by Lisa A. Romano. And this is from her book titled Loving the Self Affirmations, Breaking the Cycles of Unconscious Codependent Belief Systems, which is basically the freeze-fawn trauma response, or as I'm learning, the freeze-fawn trauma reflex. Think about that. I know it's a game changer because it's just one word, right? One word. Reflex. Because think about it. Have you ever been to the doctor and they test your reflex on your kneecap by hitting your kneecap with that little rubber mallet? What happens? Do you choose to have your leg fly up in the air? Could you even choose to keep your leg perfectly still if you wanted to? I don't think so. The reflex would be for your knee to pop up as soon as your knee was tapped with that little rubber mallet. So similarly, codependency, I'm learning, is the freeze-fawn trauma reflex. It's a reflex. We're not choosing it, right? Yes. Oh, you're so welcome, Tim. Jeffrey Sherman says, reflex is such an excellent progression. It shows a greater understanding. It really does. Oh, good night, John Harvey. Thank you so much for the cake. John Harvey brought all of us chocolate cake. Thank you so much, John Harvey. Okay, so everyone's saying good night already. I'll wrap up with our Loving the Self affirmation. Here we go. Lisa says, I know that part of my healing involves my unconscious need to fix people. And because of this, I actually attract broken and dysfunctional people who have no intention of ever getting better. But today, I will remember that I no longer have to settle for relationships that involve irresponsible people. I deserve healthy, well-adjusted, responsible partners and friends. I love that. I deserve healthy, well-adjusted, responsible partners and friends. And so do you. So, I will see you right back here next week, next Monday, 7 p.m., and every Monday. Unless I see you over on our daily recovery support groups, which are just like this, but on different topics. It's just trauma-informed peer support. Or if I see you over in the community, there's a link in the description section of this video and also in the pinned comment in the chat box. I look forward to seeing you all soon. In the meantime, please be extra kind, extra patient, and extra gentle with yourself because you're worth it. And I'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.